great people. And thank you, Lance, for giving me an opportunity. I have been within the bosoms of the VA as I've been dealing with my own struggle and preparing my children, not my black children, not my Afro-American, but my blood children, for the end of America. This is true. This is true, that America is on the final leg, that even as I have made the attempts over multiple years to, not to incite you, but to inform you from the perspective of one who will soon become an ancestor of yours, whisper and dust in the past. And as a father, as a serviceman, and as a black man, I must use my voice while I still have breath to share with you the ominous news of our republic's destruction. This destruction is built in lies, dating back to 1978, where the first stroke of real revolutionary change in the civil rights movement took place with the people versus the Ku Klux Klan. And these last 8 years have made it possible for me to dig up that old body. That less than a year ago in Jackson, Mississippi, a issue of qualified immunity and its legal standing in the pursuit of wholesale murder by the new Ku Klux Klan, the police union, which have bought the Black Congressional Caucus, the police union who have been fearmongers, the white fear, those who have destroyed the beauty of America. And as we have sacrificed our reparation for the advancement of the Latino race and its offshoots, we have picked the wrong side, that the manja, brown skin, is not your friend. Brown friend is not your ally. That they have been on YouTube and all other social media channels and internet in how they truly feel about Afro-American, which is nothing but the demon of a night of drunken passion. That this demon, Afro-American, which is the true mark of the beast, has reared its ugly head in its ignorance, to the point that there is a civil war going on amongst people of color. That these Afro-Americans will soon take us to Haiti, a devil worshiper form of devilry that has destroyed the black man and his achievements in these 54 years of civil rights and equality in America. We should be deeply concerned that we have picked the wrong individuals to believe in. The same individuals who empowered Jesse Jackson to turn on Martin Luther King. The same individuals who brought J. Edgar Hoover to his full admission as he killed Malcolm. The same Justice Department who went out their way to remove Marcus Garvey. These individuals who were born in shacks and have became alumni of Negro colleges have turned their back on black people for the salvation of the Latino who cares little or nothing about this country, who comes here on their back swinging and swimming and climbing fences and spouting hateful rhetoric through YouTube and the internet to tell you how they really feel about the Afro-American. Be not confused. Afro-American is not a race of people, but a political ideology which was created by a lost Democratic Party who used it to confuse you while they enriched their pockets and confused ignorant minds at Negro colleges. These Negro colleges are your enemy. These Negro colleges and the politicians that support them and kill roaches with their funny little dances from time to time and their Greek symbols are your enemy, have been your enemy, and were willing to take money from the new Ku Klux Klan, the police union, who are killing your sons and daughters and fathers in the streets. These unions, which have black Klansmen, who are nothing but those jockeys who hold their horses with 8-cylinder, 6-cylinder, and 4-cylinder engines. These black politicians, these black police officers who betrayed their race for the crumbs from Lazarus' table. These individuals would sell their mothers and fathers. There is no such thing as a good police officer. Do not be confused. There is no such creature. This is a lie. It has been a lie and will continue being a lie. That these black police officers were turncoats before they put on the badge, as they carried water on the football field and put orange cotton balls in nets for Mr. Charlie's right dripping of his right nut. But do not be dismayed. Do not be afraid that the last grain of sand is falling through the hourglass. And do not be afraid, because the spirit of the American, the Republic, which in its foundation you were never considered a part of, but was considered as property and breeding stock. That is the history of the black man. The Afro-American has been the foot soldier, the inbred foot soldier of Mr. Charlie. Any person, any creature, any female, any confused elderly person, and even those who suffer from mental defects as a part of attending a Negro college, in the belief that their lives are much better. And if they think they're safe, they're not safe. That one day, and it is on the horizon, good people, that this day is coming much sooner than you realize. And that at that day, not even the voting booths, the voting box, or the picket line, or marching in civil disobedience will save them for what they will have reaped and what they will sow. That your association with those who attend Negro colleges and your faith and providing a safe haven for education is no longer there. That you will be punished for what you have done. Lyndon B. Johnson could not have done it by himself when he stated that if I may get these fools to vote for me and pass the 1964 Civil Rights Act, that I will have them enslaved for 1,000 years, that it will take 1,000 years to bleed this ignorance from their brains and their veins. That our only hope is to close all black colleges, to close their doors, to picket any individual who gives donation and support to these Negro colleges. That our salvation is in total disbanding of the Black Congressional Caucus and its minions who spend much time infighting. Tim Scott, Miss Crockett, the little boy from New York who puts his finger up his ass like a dyke in a dam that is about to burst. These individuals have used their position to destroy their own people and to bring full admission to their political ideology, which they classify as a race of people. Afro-American is discouraged in the destruction of the black race, that it is never too late to cross the bridge that you have burned, that it is never too late to swim back to a safe haven and a stable shore, that if we do not vacate from this heinous pattern, this heinous title, if we do not scorn those who belong to those Greek organizations and belong to those Negro colleges, that our destruction is like a light bulb, that all it takes is you to flip a switch and your children's lives will be dangerous. That individuals such as Lance and individuals such as Tim Black and individuals from, let's just say, more prominent internet and YouTube channels, that if they do not speak while they have a chance, if they do not scorn individuals like the Pumpernickel Doughboy who has already sold his soul with his head down and his ass up, that the day will come that they will reap what they sow. Our Bible, as confused as it is and has been as misinterpreted as it has been, has gave us a template to freedom. That all you have to do is turn your back on these heinous creatures, these heinous organizations, the Black Congressional Caucus, the Negro college grad, and his hatefulness of his color and his race. Because Afro-American is not a race of people. Do not allow individuals to fool you in telling you that these individuals are your champions, that you are doing a historical thing by scorning and watering down your children's brains by allowing them to participate and go to Negro college. Now, some would say, some would argue, and some would even be in a position of being insulted by my words and by my tongue, which lashed and walked away from these colleges. At one time, in my ignorant youth, I was programmed to believe that these people were positive. I was programmed to believe that these were part of our history. But these are the true gatekeepers. These organizations, these groupings, these individuals sold you out with the Hispanics. They sold you out with the Democratic Party. And they even moved into favoritism with the Republican Party. And no black politician who says that he's an independent, he is not an independent. He is just the coon that sat by the door. Hear me carefully. If I repeat it correctly again, the coon who sat behind the door. These individuals are your enemies. White America do not care about your plight anymore. That the liberal white who argues the position that if you don't befriend him and go in allegiance with him, that you are doing wrong to your children's safety. Your Second Amendment is your safety. Your First Amendment is your safety. And those who have swung from trees, and even those who are in shallow graves, are your example of your future. That the Republic is your only salvation. James Baldwin had said it once before. James Baldwin said it once before. This time it will be by fire. And as they attacked Mr. Trump over his misinterpret of the lie he told to get in office of Mr. Jeffrey Epstein, it's more to the story than you really understand. That they all, as Puffy, they all were touching on children. They all were defaming women. That those kings and queens in the Democratic Party, those kings and queens in the Republican Party, and even those kings and double queens and classified as independents and no party affiliation are your enemy. That all that you have to lean upon is a cloth that waves in the wind that go by three colors: white, black, and the blue. That is the new America. That is what you must prepare yourself for. That is who your battle is with. The Hispanic use this country openly and without fear, have no loyalty and no allegiance, have put America on the edge of bankruptcy. And even though they tried to bring it back from the brink of destruction, that you must understand what has created this destruction. That the democratic ideas and the republic have been sold for the dollar. That at a minute's notice, as the stock market is viewing the movements in Washington, D.C., that inflation will bring about a revolution in this country. That each person, each group will set and move to the position of their core groups and their national needs. That global warming, unfortunately, is real. That Elon Musk and his movement to go to Mars and set a platform upon the moon is real. That our country is on borrowed time. No one can save this borrowed time. Not in the spirit, and not even the spirit which we have leaned upon when we have no one else to go to. That you must prepare yourself, but be not afraid. Be not dismayed, and watch very carefully. And always be aware of the coon who sat by the door. That this coon who sat by the door wears tennis shoes and dreadlocks and white teeth and have 9-year car loan and cannot afford to buy a home, nor can he pay the rent, as young girls seep away from Pookie and start hunting old men for their Viagra and their sperm in hope that it will give them safety. This country is broke and has been broke for the last 8 years. That your politicians will use this in the future to bring fear to something that you cannot stop. And even though they will taunt this fear and they will make you empty promises as they have for over 2 decades in this country, this fear is real. It has came to full admission. It has been taunted by Malcolm X, and very soon the chickens will come home to roost. And it is not because of racism, it's because of greed and the pursuit of power. Be fully aware in your choice of leaders that you will have to take the mark of beast, that those have taken the mark of the beast. So when they call themselves Afro-American, you must get away from them as soon as possible. You must stay away from them. That you must not touch their hand or walk in their wake. There will be others who will hear this cry in the dark, will try to explain my rhyme and reason as the fear of a madman and an ignorant man. But history don't lie. The truth don't lie. Just those who persuade you that it is not the truth. Many of you who remember me from the past in the beginning will know that I do not fall far from hitting it on the mark. My explanation for what is occurring right now is not a rant of a madman. It is the rant or the speech of your father, your son, your uncle, your grandfather, who have seen the heinous steps that they will go to manipulate you. So be fully aware that the day is on the horizon, that when they are finished with the Hispanics, they have already put all things in motion. That they need you back in the labor force, for the war which is coming. That Putin has played Mr. Trump, that the Ukrainians have wasted the money which was given, and that the Russians need the mineral resources of Ukraine for their existence, that the Europeans have wasted the Marshall Plan, and now they have to pay the cost to be the boss. So prepare yourself, good people. Refuse the manja of the Afro-American, because the Afro-American is not a race of people, but a political ideology created by the Black Congressional Caucus, which has sold you out. Hear what I say to you, good people. The Black Congressional Caucus has sold you out. That they're more concerned about the Hispanic, which they brought over here, which they fed and they housed, and they used your reparations to replace you. Yes, it's true. No, this is not a rant of a madman. This is fact, that your true enemy and those who are denying you the right of advancement and safety and substance are those who share your same skin. The Hispanic, when he snuck in this country, had no intention of being an American. He came here to get the money to send it back home. If it is not true, then the Congressional Caucus would be concerned about your safety and police brutality, that they would not have taken money from the Democratic Party, prosecutors, and congressmen and state representatives. All you have to do is open your eyes and look at your state representatives, your black senators, and those governors who are black, and those black chief of police. This is true. There has been an increase since the increase of black chief of police of murder. Yes, I call it murder. And you can no longer see these events as isolated incidents or individuals selling drugs or individuals who are flaunting and disrespecting the police. That our young people are having the right idea and using their constitutional right to self-defense against rogue police officers and members of the new Ku Klux Klan, which are the police union. Yes, I stand openly and call them the new Ku Klux Klan. They have for over a year not had qualified immunity, and those individual lawyers who are working on behalf of any individual who calls upon them in legal lawsuits through district courts, local courts, and federal courts, the Justice Department, and federal courts, that they have never added the police union to the list of plaintiffs in these wholesale murders which have been going on for over 10 years in this country. That those black politicians have used their positions and their money that they have taken from the police unions, because we have one of the most heinous police departments that the world has ever seen in Hollywood, Florida. That is the most heinous police department that you can ever imagine. And they do the heinous violation of civil liberties on tape, in your face, that the governor if we may even classify him as a human being, DeSantis would use his position and where he takes off his condom with that lying heifer who claims she had cancer. And now she wants to run for political office in the state of Florida. And the new Rock of Gibraltar, the Alcatraz, the Gator Alcatraz within the state of Florida is nothing but an internment camp. But federal prison, state prison, and God forbid, even county detention centers have been for decades internment camps. But you see no Democrat running to fight to get in there, and they are open book to the uncleanliness, the lack of safety for your brethren who are black. If they kill an Afro-American within a state institution, a county institution, a federal institution, he knew that from birth that his life was less than a bucket of water. But he strived to get in that, to be in that environment, and then he cried foul after he get what he wished for. I can go on and on. An individual by the name of Tim Black calls upon you today and yesterday and even tomorrow as the sun sets today and rises tomorrow to call on you. Open your eyes and speak and use your voice and tell yourself the greatest shame in being a man of color in America is lying to yourself, not the oppression that is put upon you. It's the day and each and every day that you rise and you say with full confidence, oh, well, that's just not how it is. No, that's how you want it to be. When you set your mind, a free man does not set his mind upon his destruction as normal. Only a slave does that. A slave that is inbred, because each and every day for the last 2 years in Black America, we watch the Afro-American not even know who his father is and not demand a DNA test for his children from lying women, which they have empowered. Chivalry is not dead. It has been murdered by feminism. Hear me very carefully. Your protection of the black woman is a negative and a failing pursuit that in taking feminists as her march of independence, she committed wholesale murder of chivalry. That this murder is sanctioned each day you allow and pay to feed her and her children when she lies about who her children's father is. Every man who has visitation rights and having visitation rights in this country, the first thing you do is not go get that child's hair done, not get that little boy hair cut, but to take them to the closest hospital and have a DNA test done. And if you waste your money on tennis shoes and entertainment and McDonald's and good times, and you ain't got no DNA test over your children, and you continue lying to yourself, because she is sure enough lying to you. This is all part of the master plan. Be a man. Be a black man. And when you have your visitation, Do not go to McDonald's. Go to the first laboratory that you can get to and swab your children's mouth, because the pain would be easier if you do it when the child is small than waiting till that child becomes older. This is your boy, Mr. Political. I may come back. You may hear of a heinous accident of my demise. But at the end of this, at the end of my voice being heard through the airwaves, I at least was man enough to stand on moral ground and say my piece. This is your boy, Mr. Political. I have been gone, and God forbid if I have been forgotten, but I will have my peace, and I will speak the truth. And in that, good day, good evening, and not goodbye, but into a new moment, and we will speak again.